Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. So today is August 20th, 2020, and what I want to talk to you today is about the difference between own root roses, which is what this rose bush here is, and grafted roses. Now, you might be seeing, like in some of the catalogs coming out, or some of the pamphlets, that they have a thing in there called an own root rose, and they have ones in there called grafted roses. So in this video here, I want to explain the differences between the two. So all that's coming up in today's episode, so please stay tuned. So this rose bush here is an own root rose. And what that means is it has its own root stock. It hasn't been grafted onto another root stock of a different variety of a rose. It's more hardy. It also has more vigorous growth to it. And I've noticed that own root roses do grow a lot faster, and the plants seem to be a lot hardier. Now you do still want to check your growing zone before you buy your roses to make sure that the rose is suited for what zone you're going to be growing it in. And own root roses can actually freeze, from my understanding, the whole way down to the roots, and it will still come back for you. The grafted roses, what happens with those is the grafts can freeze out over the winter time, and then you'll lose your rose. A lot of your hybrid tea roses are grafted. This particular rose here is a Floribunda type rose. It has a little bit different, the bloom on it's spent right now, but it's a little bit different type of rose. But when the graft dies out on the rose, the original stalk that they grafted the rose on most of the time will sprout back out. And that can even happen when the rose that you originally purchased is still growing. And you'll wind up with this different rose along with the rose that you purchased. I do like the own root roses a whole lot better than the grafted roses because I don't have to worry about them dying out over the winter time, where they grafted it together. And I'm gardening in Pennsylvania in Zone 5B. So growing roses here can sometimes be a challenge because we get temperatures lower than what our growing zone even says. And you know, when you put a lot of money out, let's face it, you know, like hybrid tea roses, they're not cheap. They're pretty expensive. And when you start putting a lot of money out for your rose bushes and stuff, you want them to last for you. Now, the grafted roses, you can try and mulch them. That does help some, but my grafted roses that I have aren't even this tall. They're not even close to being this tall. And they were planted a lot. This plant is younger than my other plants, and they're just really kind of not growing. They're just sitting there. So this one here is one of my grafted hybrid tea roses, and it's a lot smaller. The plant is a lot older than the own root rose that I had just showed you. Now, some of the reasons why they graft the roses onto other rootstock is the roses themselves, it's to give them more hardiness during the wintertime for the rootstock, because like the rootstock of this particular plant here wouldn't be able to handle where I'm growing it at. So they graft them. And they do this a lot. It's supposed to make the rose more vigorous, but my preference is the own root roses because, I mean, you can see the difference in the plants. I know that one's a Floribunda plant, but still this rose should be a lot bigger than this. And And how you can tell if the rose is grafted is you'll see like a pretty good sized like knot is what I'm going to call it. Especially if you're getting like the bare root roses, you'll see like this kind of knot on the stem, and that's where they grafted it at. So protecting that during the winter time is a must so that it doesn't die out. Now, a lot of your hybrid tea roses are grafted, and it's hard to find an own root rose. Sometimes you can find them in the catalogs where they'll be listed like as own root roses. These were all purchased from catalogs and different things. I'm not sure what you find in the garden centers, but I don't think they tell you if it would be like an own root rose. I'm not sure. But most of your roses are grafted onto a different rootstock. Now, I have not had the original rootstock on this one here send out any stems or shoots from it. So it's staying pretty true to the Double Delight hybrid tea rose. And like I said, you know, if you live in a colder area and you want to grow roses, I definitely recommend mulching them, especially if you're growing grafted roses. Go ahead and get them mulched before winter time to try and help them survive the winter. And I know some people put like straw over their roses during the winter time to try and help them survive the winter. We've done that already here, you know, to try and help them. Now, the own root rose, I don't believe we've ever put straw on that one. That one just kind of takes care of itself there. So if you like the video, please like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the little notification button that will tell you as I put a new video on. You can also follow me on Twitter. I'll have a link down in the description for my Twitter account. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day. Bye!